everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Conversations, the podcast where we learn English with simple, real-life conversations.
Hi, friends. Today we are going to talk about the past progressive, also called the past continuous.
Yes, this tense is very useful when we talk about actions that were happening at a specific time in the past.
Exactly. For example, I was cooking dinner at 7.
Or, she was studying when I called her.
We use was or were plus the verb with ing.
So, the structure is subject plus was or were plus verb ing.
For example, I was working. You were studying. He was sleeping. They were eating.
Very useful and very real.
Yes. Let's start with a normal situation. Carlos, what were you doing yesterday at 8 in the evening?
Yesterday at 8, I was watching a video.
An English video?
A cooking video.
Were you cooking?
No, I wasn't cooking. I was only watching.
So your eyes were cooking, but your hands were resting.
Exactly. Very advanced cooking.
Let's start with affirmative sentences.
For affirmative sentences, we use was with I, he, she, and it.
And we use were with you, we, and they.
For example, I was working. She was reading. He was driving. It was raining.
And you were studying. We were talking. They were playing.
Let's use real examples.
Yesterday at 7, I was cooking dinner.
Yesterday at 7, I was answering messages.
At 9, I was reading a book.
At 9, I was looking for my phone.
Again?
Yes, I was holding it in my hand.
Classic.
The past progressive is also useful when one action was happening and another action interrupted it.
For example, I was cooking when my phone rang.
I was sleeping when the alarm started.
They were walking when it started to rain.
We were talking when the teacher entered the room.
Great. Now let's practice negative sentences.
For negative sentences, we use wasn't or weren't.
For example, I wasn't sleeping.
She wasn't working.
You weren't listening.
They weren't studying.
That last one sounds like many students before an exam.
True, they weren't studying. They were watching videos.
Let's use a real situation. Yesterday, I called you at 6, but you didn't answer.
Yes, sorry. I wasn't ignoring you. I was taking a shower.
Okay, that is fair.
What were you doing?
I was walking home.
Were you listening to music?
No, I wasn't listening to music. I was listening to a podcast.
Nice. Was it our podcast?
Maybe.
That means no.
Now let's talk about questions.
For questions, we put was or were before the subject.
For example, was he working?
Was she studying?
Were you sleeping?
Were they talking?
And we can answer, yes, I was. No, I wasn't.
Or, yes, they were. No, they weren't.
Let's practice with a small conversation.
What were you doing at lunchtime?
I was eating soup.
Were you eating pizza?
No, I wasn't. I was trying to be healthy.
Very responsible.
What were you doing?
I was eating a sandwich.
Were you working at the same time?
Yes, I was.
That is not healthy.
I know, my sandwich was having a business meeting.
Poor sandwich.
Another example. Last night I was cleaning my room when I found an old notebook.
Nice. What was inside?
Old English notes.
Were they useful?
Yes, they were, but my handwriting was terrible.
Maybe your English was improving, but your handwriting was suffering.
Exactly.
Now let's practice. Listen and repeat.
Affirmative sentences.
I was studying at 8.
She was working yesterday.
We were watching a movie.
They were talking in the kitchen.
Negative sentences.
I wasn't sleeping.
He wasn't driving.
We weren't waiting.
They weren't listening.
Questions.
Were you studying?
Was she working?
Were they watching TV?
Was it raining?
Great! Quick recap.
We use the past progressive to talk about actions that were happening at a specific moment in the past.
Affirmative. I was working. They were studying.
Negative. I wasn't working. They weren't studying.
Question. Were you working? Was she studying?
Remember, Use was with I, he, she, and it.
And use were with you, we, and they.
Practice with your real life. Ask yourself, what was I doing yesterday at 7?
Then answer, I was cooking. I was studying. I was walking home.
Small practice every day makes English easier.
Friends, thank you for listening to Easy English Conversations.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and don't be afraid of mistakes.
See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.